Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Well. Hi. Hello. Let's get some stuff over here. The world is over, and I am your ringmaster. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Ben Network. I'm your favorite host and the only handsome one, Mike Cameron. Everyone else is ugly, and we know it. And that's why I'm alone here. Oh, hey, Ollie.
Hey.
Oh,
what's going on?
Steph's come to hang out with us, and Sadie's here, and Jen's here. But so war has started.
Yeah.
And let me grab a vidya.
Who predicted that Trump would be doing this and the 2-week thing was just bullshit?
No, dude, he's a dove. He would never ever take us to war, ever.
Yeah, never.
Day one, he's gonna end them all. You know, when day one happens, it just hasn't happened yet.
Mikey,
Maybe they don't know that.
If you look up, I think it was 2012 when Trump tweeted on Twitter, Trump's popularity numbers are Obama's popularity numbers are down. He's gonna bomb Iran. It's like you can't make this shit up.
Did he say that?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, I'll find it.
2012. It's there.
Wow.
Let's try this one first.
So that's exactly what he's doing with his numbers down.
We have breaking news. President Trump posted to his social media site Truth Social that the U.S. has bombed Iran. I'm Jory Rand, along with Sophie Flay, the president, writing just a short time ago.
Jen, read it.
We have completed.
Oh, wait, whoa. Time out. Do it again, but do not fucking blow out your microphone this time.
Hold on.
That was at about a 17. I need you at like a 5.
Let me check my volume settings. Hold on.
Okay. All right. Hold, please. Hold on. I got some hold music. I got some clips. I got some soundboard clips that you guys haven't heard yet. Have you heard this one?
He's bleach blonde, bad built butch body.
My favorite.
And the girls are fighting, aren't they?
Yeah.
I look back at the headlights and like, that's not supposed to be there.
Big leftist. Just disagree with your analysis completely, but I want to be respectful.
Okay.
I love Tesla.
All right. You ready, Jen?
Testing.
Yeah, much better.
We have completed a very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo, Natanz, and how would he say that? Esfahan.
Gloria Estefan has been struck.
Our planes are now outside of an Iran airspace. Goddamn.
Jesus.
Out of an Iran airspace, a full payload of bombs was dropped.
So loud again. You got it so
you're
loud
just getting too close to your mic, Jen.
Yeah, back up. Don't lean in.
I'm literally 5 feet away from a condenser mic. I don't.
Ow. Put a blanket over your head. I don't. It's too loud.
How about this? I've covered my head with a shirt.
All planes are now safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There's not a military in the world that could have done that. Okay. Now is the time for peace. What the fuck? Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Thank you for your attention to this matter.
I just fucking kicked off a fucking international incident because I'm dumb. I like how the news straight up has their fucking browser on the fucking thing. Like it's not even cropped. That's where we're at now.
You know what they say, folks? The best piece is the greatest offense.
We were all busy doing other things, but the president apparently addressed the nation at 9:00.
We love peace, folks. We have the best peace.
And I don't know what the president's address contained, but probably something along those lines. He may be expanding on his truth. Also, earlier this evening, I was tuned into In Time.
Here he comes.
Nick's channel, and Apparently, Truth Social was down for some reason.
There were too many people getting out their truths.
Yeah.
It was too truthful. They had to shut it down.
So
There was too much truth going on.
Definitely.
Too much
Oh, I see
honesty.
that trait. I see that trait, and I got you. I got you, big dog. Oh wait, here it is.
Two of those when I went through puberty. Honka honka, we're all gonna die. Anyway,
We've seen this walk so many times,
Here we
moments
go.
of history, moments of controversy, and today a seismic moment.
Oh my God,
I just hate the fucking media. I hate the fucking media. I swear to God.
So this is my
Moments of
favorite.
truth, moments of history. Jesus.
So this is my favorite part. Look at how unmanly this walk up is. Like, this is the weirdest walk up I've ever seen. Sadie, you're in here like 40 times. What is going on over there? She's gotten. There we go.
My internet.
look at.
Spazzing.
Oh, okay. Triton, get in here. Oh, Ollie's doing the thing. All right, let's look at this walk up though. This is so good. Look at this.
Here he is.
Here he comes. Here comes
Awkward.
We've seen this walk so many
3,
times.
and 4.
Moments of history,
Do
moments
we
of
walk in a line? Do I walk behind him? What do I do? Should I hold his hand? Should we hold hands together? He doesn't want to hold my hand.
controversy.
It looks like he
today,
just spawned
aside
into the world.
in terms of the Middle East.
Fucking NPCs.
Like 5 minutes ago, he was in A pose. You just know.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime, Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan.
Wow.
He's doing the Zoolander face. Like, on God, he's doing the Zoolander.
He is hopped up on something. Because
So
like you can tell when he's on the amphetamines, because his fucking jaw goes crazy. Like his like he does like the, you know what I mean? Like the jaw just goes a little, like pops a little bit.
Iranian and eyebrows are trying to escape his
Fordow,
face.
Natanz, and Esfahan.
See?
Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
How would you even know that?
He doesn't yet.
I gotta ask, or rather point this out. Have any of you been looking at like Vance and Hegseth behind him, looking with like the utmost concern and worry as he's speaking?
Well, he can't read very well. So this is an icy moment, right? This is wet ice. You know what I'm saying?
But Trump knows more than what he's allowed to say right now.
Right, and they need to make sure that he only reads the fucking thing.
Yeah.
So Dum Dum might start dum-dumming.
Yeah.
Let's play. Hold on.
Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their special.
In Iran? Oh, okay.
We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as
Wait,
a team
how long ago would he have decided that?
before.
I decided a long time ago. Like, he's been looking for this excuse for how long then, do you think?
Probably
2012,
pulled
right?
out of Iran
2012.
nuclear deal, right? At least.
Well, why do you think we got out of it?
A long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military.
Oh, no. You
of the
can't
mission
make
side.
that up, can you?
With all of that being said, this
Dan
cannot
Raisin
continue. There will
Kane.
be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just
Tell him to set his alarm.
thank everybody, and
Yeah. in
particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them.
We love you, God. Thank you for
Doesn't
coming
even
to
know how
the
to fucking
party.
pray.
I told you he can't read. I told you.
Just
We
thank
love you,
everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God
Then why are you bombing them?
bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Fucking asshole.
Why did they walk out?
He 100% thought God was in the audience right there.
And God, who voted for me?
But the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff is named Raisin Kane. It's the general in Doctor Strangelove was Jack D. Ripper. How does this happen? How did we get here? This
He's
is
taken out
crazy.
in
General Raisin Kane.
Can we juxtapose this, by the way, with Joni Ernst saying, "Well, we all die" in response to the new big budget bullshit, like cutting funding from Medicaid?
Yeah.
Like, just juxtapose, don't care about people's deaths when it's inconvenient to your party's agenda and ideology, and it's not a good look. But when it's useful to promote a war, we gotta get revenge for all of these things that we don't have statistics for happening.
Well, there is continuity, though, Jen. Honestly, they don't care about the deaths so long as they're causing the deaths. So, in the case of Iran, well, we're bombing them, and in the case of the people that are at risk because of their policies, they're killing them too. They don't care. They don't care. Death's on the table all the time.
Bernard Sanders, independent from Vermont.
Bernie. When was this? Tonight. Right. Okay.
This was tonight. Yes.
Yeah, he's doing his.
He just got the news.
This is after.
Hey! Everybody, calm down. Let me host. God damn it! I'm all geeked up and jazzed up to do this, and I want y'all to be my beautiful.
You go.
co-host.
You go.
Thank
You go. You go.
So yeah, Senator Bernie Sanders is in the middle of his fighting oligarchy tour, and then they slide him the piece of paper, and then I don't know if you guys caught it. He said, "This is what everyone's yelling about."
This is a statement from Donald Trump. Quote, "We have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran, etc."
Bernie could have been president, man.
He could have been.
Ooh, listen to that. Yeah, zoom out. Let's see.
This isn't Tulsa, Oklahoma, folks.
Well, you know Tulsa, Oklahoma, that blue bastion of liberal madness.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Did you see him, like, his eyes, though, like, in pure rage? Just.
That was dad mode, mad.
I'll tell you something. Not only is this news that I've just heard this second alarming, that all of you have just heard, but it is so grossly unconstitutional. All of you know that the only entity that can take this country to war is the U.S. Congress. The president does not have the right.
Yeah. Damn right, Bernie.
You know, I was talking a moment ago about the fact that we are living in one of the most difficult moments in the modern history of this country, and Trump just made it that much more difficult. That's just another burden we're going to have to carry, and that's just another message we're going to have to get out all over this country. The American people do not want more war, more death.
Bernie has been fighting this since Vietnam. Bernie knows what he's saying.
It might be a good idea if we concentrated on the problems that exist in Oklahoma and Vermont, rather than getting involved in another war that the American people do not want. Let me just say this, that in the midst of all of what is going on, what is enormously important is that we do not give up on a vision of where this country must go. What the establishment wants you to believe is that you have no power, that you can't accomplish anything. They have it all, nothing you can do. And in this moment in American history, what we have got to do in Vermont and Oklahoma, in Texas, all over this country, is stand up and fight back and tell them this is our country.
Put your goddamn flag down. You're distracting from the broadcast. God damn it. Get out of the way. Put it down. We know where we are.
Mostly because of the backdrop.
Yeah.
I don't
like,
care
we got
if
one
you
right
are
back
a
there.
progressive,
Yeah.
a moderate, or a conservative. This country belongs to all of us, not just a handful of billionaires. And when we look out into the future, the kind of America we want, let's understand a few things. Number one, instead of giving tax breaks to billionaires, we should demand they start paying their fair share of taxes.
What a novel concept.
No, we should not be throwing 16 million Americans off the health care they have. We should be doing what every other major country does, guarantee health care to all as a human right.
All right, Bernard.
This is...
All right, Bernard.
So Bernie was obviously affected and taken aback by the news. I saw that. I think you all did. He carried on with his message because he wasn't going to improvise on like, oh shit, I just got this information that apparently we're now at war with Iran.
I wish Bernie would have just said like straight up, and this is why y'all should have voted for me. Now, next time I come around this motherfucker, I don't want to have no goddamn shuffling of toes. You get your asses on board the Bernie train and quit fucking around. That's what he should have said after he lost in the first time, after Hillary and the hoodwinking of the superdelegates. Like after that shit, he's like, all right, I'm a fall back, but when I run next time, I don't want to hear no bullshit. And then we wouldn't be in the situation.
I don't know. This seems kind of in character, the passive aggressiveness of not, lauding that over people, and more so just being like, okay, what are we going to do now? That feels more in character for Bernie.
Yeah, it's the what are we going to do now? But he's not saying that. He's making the case that what we are doing now is the wrong way of doing things and that we've got to change that. But here's this new thing that just popped up, and what are we going to do now about this new thing? Because the new thing is really kind of dangerous. What's going to happen, in my opinion, is look, the Iranians Iran is a nation of 90 million people. Israel is a nation of 10. Iran is close to a major waterway through which a whole shit ton of the world's petroleum passes. They control one entire side of the Persian Gulf. It's not, I know the Arabians call it the Arabian Gulf, much like the French call the English Channel La Manche. But it's more than that. At this point in time, it is the Persian Gulf. Saudi does not control the shipping through there. Iran does. And what's going to happen? Iran's not a powerless actor here. The entire notion that because we hit 3 nuclear facilities, the government of Iran is powerless? Well, tell that to Saddam Hussein.
I have a special message
There was a whole fucking war that Iran and Iraq fought. And who won it? At best, it was a draw. But really, if you want to talk about it, who won it? Who's still there? It ain't Saddam. Ooh. Iran's not going away. Iran is going to do what they have to do. Americans have bases in Oman, in other parts of the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, in Saudi. Granted, those nations don't get along with Iran for historical and religious reasons, but they're relying on the United States to do this stuff. Iran has the capacity to at least make life very uncomfortable for everyone in the region. And do we really think that we have the capacity to impose our will on a nation of 90 million people?
New clip.
What did Tim say? You said you got news from Tim.
He said, "Happy birthday to me. Trump has started World War III."
Oh, he's quite humorous.
Sort of like burrows into the ground, these 30,000-pound explosive devices. Can you talk more about how that would work in this sort of situation and what it specifically needs to get to in the ground?
Yeah, some people may say, well, wait a minute, the B-2 is a stealth bomber. It goes in where you have very heavy air defenses, where enemy radars would be able to see it. And so why is it being used in Iran when we know that the Israelis have taken down all of the air defense systems? That's because this MOP, this hardened penetrator that can go up to 200 feet below the ground, can only be carried by the B-2. So the B-52 has carried it before, but the weapon system itself is only certified to fly on the B-2. So this is why the B-2s had to go in to use these bunker busting bombs. So the whole idea is that of the 30,000 pounds, only 5,000 pounds are explosives. Most of it is a very hardened case because it has to punch through rock and dirt, and it has to push all that force down many layers. It actually has a fuse that can sense going through various layers. And so the idea here is that they've got to collapse those big, massive halls that we've actually seen pictures with because the IAEA has been in there. Collapse these halls and collapse dirt on top of these centrifuges that were enriching uranium to a weapons quality capability. So it's a bomb that was developed originally. Most of the impetus was for the North Korean threat, because remember that the North Koreans also have very deeply buried capabilities in their nuclear sites. And so the U.S. said, well, we think that if we need to use this, that North Korea may be the first place we need to use it. We don't want the Kim regime to be able to continue to develop more nuclear weapons. But then they knew that Fordo was there as well. So really the only two places in the world where this weapon is appropriate and where the U.S. or any other country would need to use a hardened penetrator would be in North Korea or Iran.
Awesome.
I'm glad they gave a super accurate description of how we fucked people over so that now people have a very clear understanding of why they fucking hate us.
Yep.
That doesn't make me feel paranoid at all.
No, shouldn't. Shouldn't at all. You're good.
That's fucking insane. That's the only way I can describe the news nowadays, actually, is it's insane.
Well,
like it's just insane.
Can we go back to Bernie's point that Trump didn't have the power to do this? And like he had to go through Congress to get this done?
Yeah, I mean, if at this point Trump isn't at least like if there isn't an effort to impeach Trump at this point, then I have lost all faith in this government's ability to do anything as outlined by their job descriptions. Basically,
you should lose your faith.
Yeah, the faith should be all long gone.
You should lose it.
Well, I mean, like
right now, you're just hoping that you will get another chance to vote. That's where I think you should be at right now.
Well, I don't think he's going to be able to stop it. He might try to do some court shit to try to like make sure it's not certified. But locally, motherfuckers are going to their local shit. You know what I mean? Because like his net doesn't go into the Secretary of State for Illinois. Like they're going to hold elections. Every state funds their own elections anyway. We just give the results to DC. You know what I'm saying? So he might try some trickery saying that none of that shit counts. But then he's got it. Then he signed himself up for a new adventure.
Yeah.
You know. You're muted.
Steph, you're muted.
To the specific. Oh, great.
Brand new mic.
I'm not now. To the specific point that doesn't it require Congress to do this? Listen carefully. Listen again carefully to what Trump said. He specifically linked this to the global war on terror, which a little piece of legislation passed by Congress gave the president wide latitude to make military strikes on any entity, nation or otherwise, that is engaged in or supportive of the global war on terror. It was the authorization for the use of military force, the AUMF. It was passed. That was the piece of legislation that allowed Bush to do Iraq. It is still in effect. It has only been modified once, and it was modified to give the president initial use, but he's got to come to Congress in 30 days if he wants to do anything else. And that's why he made reference to it. Bernie's right that the Constitution says presidents don't have the power to wage war. The War Powers Act it was supposed to limit the bullshit that that allowed Kennedy and Johnson to basically devastate Vietnam.
But because
But
of the
the
war on terror
AUMF,
thing,
the AUMF gave the president almost carte blanche to go wag his dick anywhere in the world. Any place he wanted to drop a bomb, he could do it, but he had to come to Congress in 30 days. Now that's weak sauce. And it's no way to run a government, but it's the fact, and it's why he referenced it tonight. He's not stupid.
I didn't know that. So.
He's
Marty,
not a
everybody in the
stupid
chat?
man.
Sure he is. The AUMF stands for the Authorization of Use of Military Force. It's a specified type of joint resolution passed by the United States Congress, most notably by the one passed September 18th, 2001, in response to the September 11th attacks. The 2001 AUMF authorized the president to use military force against those responsible for the attacks and those who harbored them.
Can we just point out also that Trump is speed running the dictator checklist here? Military parade on his birthday.
Yep.
Immediate like fucking strikes on another country. Fucking like what's next? You know,
He did that last time though. He dropped remember when he dropped a Moab to kill one guy? And detonated the whole side of a mountain with a Moab. Yeah, he did that last time.
I'll be entirely honest with you. It's hard for me to remember all of the things that Trump has ever done because ever since 2016, I feel like there's so much that I have to keep track with that I just can't remember a single specific fucking thing. It's maddening.
Well, you think you got it bad? Ask Eugene Carroll. Fuck.
Here you go. Here's the Moab.
The U.S. Air Force dropped a 21,000-pound bomb in eastern Afghanistan, the first use ever of this weapon in combat. This is a weapon called the Massive Ordnance Air Blast Bomb. It was dropped in eastern Afghanistan in Nangarhar province against a complex of ISIS tunnels, personnel that had been assembling in that area of Nangarhar. The U.S. military had this weapon in development for years, but now today, just a few hours ago, dropping the bomb in combat, according to U.S. officials, for the first time ever. This massive 21,000-pound bomb, we have video we're showing of the testing of the bomb, but again, not used in combat until today, we are told. This is such a heavy bomb, such a large bomb. It is put in the back of a cargo plane, a special operations cargo plane, and basically pushed out the back of it. Now they've dropped on this ISIS complex of fighters in eastern Afghanistan. This is an area where just a few days ago, a U.S. special operations soldier was killed in action in a firefight with ISIS fighters. It's an area the U.S. has been trying to go after to clear ISIS out of there. An extraordinary use of this weapon to put mildly how seriously the U.S. Air Force takes this bomb. The official name is the Massive Ordnance Air Blast Bomb, MOAB, Moab. The nickname inside the Air Force for this, quite seriously, is the mother of.
You're muted, Mikey.
The mother.
Yeah, so they didn't show the whole thing.
Mother.
So it's a giant thermobaric grenade. So it puts down its primer and then it sparks it, and then so it'll fill up an entire bunker or an entire building with this gas on the first hit, and then it detonates all of it. And there's
it goes kaboom.
How is that different from flamethrowers, which are banned?
Because this is way hotter than flamethrowers.
Yep.
Oh,
Makes
I
no
don't
sense.
understand. This is fucked. Why are we always testing our big ass bombs in the Middle East? For the love of God,
Because they said we can't drop it in the ocean anymore.
Or Nevada.
Here we go. Yeah.
Or New Mexico.
That's probably the same fucking thing, but just like from the plane.
That's pretty. Hey, look, technologically, technologically, all of this stuff is fascinating, but you know what? They're all systems designed to do one thing and one thing only, and that's kill people.
Yep.
And, that's, again, it seems like a misguided idea. We're doing this in defense of what exactly?
Well, as I said, it was one guy who died, right, that caused them to do all this shit. So they do all of this for one guy. And yet, again, Iowa Republican Senator Joni Ernst says everyone dies in response to people freaking out about the cuts to Medicaid and Medicare.
Again,
diabetics don't need insulin.
They don't care. They don't get if the people we want to die, then that's more good for us.
Oh, no.
We want the Iranians to die. We want the Iranians to die. That they're every accusation is a confession. We want the Iranians to die. We also
saying that over and over again.
We also want the poor people to die. We want the immigrants to die. We want the
don't just list other things. Stephanie, we talked about this.
Who's this we that you keep saying?
Adjust the way you're saying it so that you're not saying terms of service things over and over again. Like we're still streaming.
It just look.
Like I get it. Like
the framing,
those people,
the framing that you're not going to change. You're not going to change the framing. They've got a program, and the program is somewhat horrific, in my opinion.
I hear what you're saying, but you understand the algorithm and how the bots work. So stop saying that phrase on a loop because it'll just get us flagged, and then there's nothing I can do about it. You don't. That's not what we're talking. You know what I mean? Like that's. I also just
want to say, I know that it works to their favor in that way, and I know that's like a feature, not a bug of what they're trying to do. But I'm trying to highlight it again, like thousands of people being affected across the country, if not millions. Their response is, "Well, everyone dies," but
correct.
But in service of their goals, they'll make any excuse in order to go after people that they don't like, So one guy ultimately,
which is essentially the same point that I've been making apparently too many times, and I realize that the algorithms are designed to make conversation. The algorithm is designed to make conversations like this impossible.
I'm going to type in the chat what you were saying that was problematic. I'm not attacking you, but I don't think you heard what you were saying as you were saying it. So I'm going to type it in the private chat.
And also I was clarifying because you started making the point you were making as I was making this point.
You see?
That was the word
I do see.
Okay.
I do see.
I just wanted you to say it differently.
Okay. That's fine.
I hear what you're saying.
That's fine. But I hope everybody understands that the algorithms are designed to disallow frankness.
But but either way, I think your larger point is that there are disposable peoples out there, and those people are
correct.
The poor people are disposable, and if we have to use up a few of the poor people or these brown people that are all the way across the ocean, who cares as long as we get what we're after?
Correct. That is the point. And thank you for rephrasing it. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm agreeing with you. We just can't say it like that.
Yeah. We were agreeing with you. Just the words coming out were.
I know what you meant.
Yeah.
The words coming out were frank, and those words can't be said that those words can't be said in public discourse on YouTube or in any place where people might be able to say those words.
I wouldn't say them in any kind of company because I don't phrase it that way, but we're getting caught in the weeds here.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is going to be fun for MAGA to try to like hand wave away, and they were so many percentages away from the thing. I don't know if you guys saw the show on Tuesday. And I had Landon on, and Landon went through the whole enriching process, and he explained what the centrifuges do, and this, that, and the third. And so to get if you enrich uranium for like, let's say like a power plant, then you only need to enrich the uranium to like 3 to 5%, he was saying. So like you don't need it to be like this like extreme high number, and then that produces enough stable like you have enough stable criticality, if that makes any sense, where you can keep your reaction going with like slight maintenance, and there's like slight risk. And that's kind of like what we do over here in the States. Like Illinois, I think, has like 8 or 11 like nuclear power plants, which is why The Simpsons is in Springfield, Illinois. I don't care about the little competition that they had. Homer worked at a motherfucking power plant and in a Springfield. The only place that's got a power plant near Springfield is Illinois, but whatever. And that's where Homer worked. And so what they were, I think when they officially first got stopped and were getting caught by the inspectors, they were up to like 30%. Right. And then they started then we did the Iran nuclear deal, and we unfroze some of their money, and then they got to continue off with their just the the under 10% kind of stuff. Trump ripped that up.
Yeah.
So because Trump ripped up that deal and said you're not getting your money, fuck you, they decided cool
in 2016.
Right. So they're like, fine, we're going to go back to enriching because we don't have a deal anymore. And now now we are bombing them for enriching when we're the ones that broke the agreement.
And according to Tulsi Gabbard, and according to the director of national intelligence, and look, I have my doubts as to her national intelligence, but hey, whatever. She told Trump the Iranians do not have the capacity of building a thermonuclear device. All of our intelligence said they're not there, and they're not likely to be there. They have the capacity to enrich to 60%. They need to get to 90.
But that's
in order to have not just fissionable material, but fissionable material that can do a bomb.
But
then Trump said, well, I don't believe her.
Well, that's the thing that Landon was saying. So 90%, that 90% is the greatest efficiency.
Yeah.
Right.
They can still make a bomb with 60. You just need more uranium. You just need more uranium to go supercritical. So like the premise was off, like the framing is off. And I think honestly, it's a lot of staging. Let me read the one angry pagan with the 2 British pounds. Thank you for that. Thanks, one angry pagan. BYOB, System of a Down is an appropriate song. Dude, my daughter loves System of a Down. She loves Serge's voice. It's maybe there's a little Armenian in us somewhere. So here we go. They murder women for showing their hair, but them having nukes will not end up bad. I mean, I don't think that their social ills and their problems socially dictates another country upsetting the apple cart. Because, I mean, if I use your logic, then they should be bombing us. And I don't like that. I don't want other people who disagree with our government or how it is set up to be able to bomb us. Or they don't like the fact that people are gay, so then they start bombing us because people are gay. I don't think that's the appropriate reaction to people doing things that are distasteful for your society. Like, that's not really how that works. I think liberating the women and liberating everybody in there helps them, but putting financial strains and sanctions on countries and then forcing them you know what I mean? Like we force people underneath dictators by we try to punish the dictator, but we end up like shoveling the people under them. You know what I mean? So like it doesn't help. Like is us sanctioning Cuba for the next 150 years, is that really gonna get rid of communism in Cuba? Or are we really just punishing the Cubans at this point? That's where I'm at.
Also, I'm not really sure that bombing the fuck out of another nation is a great way to encourage the women of Iran to think kindly of the people of the United States. I mean, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. If you want to help women's rights in Iran, try to do something in the United States that promotes women's rights, rather than taking away women's self-determination here.
Right. Like that's rich of us to say, right?
Serve by example.
Simpler Secular Dave in the chat says, I need to ask an obvious question. If Trump isn't legally allowed to order an airstrike on Iran, how come the military ran the missions and dropped the bombs? We talked about it a little earlier. I think I still got it up here. Yeah. It's because of this guy. The AUMF stands for the Authorization of Use of Military Force. It's a specified type of joint resolution passed by the United States Congress, most notably the one passed on September 18, 2001, in response to the September 11th attacks. This 2001 AUMF authorization authorized the president to use military force against those responsible for the attacks and those who harmed it. So pretty much it's the Patriot Act.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they can do whatever.
And
yes,
the
embargo.
Patriot Act, the Patriot Act was substantially diluted during the Biden administration. But it's still there. It's still an act of Congress. It hasn't been repealed. It's just the president can do what he wants to do so long as he links it to the global war against terror. But he has to report to Congress after 30 days. So Trump's got 30 days to bomb the crap out of anybody. Trump can invade Europe if he wants to and call it a fight against the war, in the war against terror. And Congress can't do anything because Congress denutted itself in passing that fucking legislation.
Cut, Chris. The IAEA and the entire international community warned us that Iran's program would accelerate after 2018. Yeah, after we tore up the deal.
That's right.
Well, Trump tore it up. Like the deal was working. It's spelled CIAO, by the way.
Was Trump responsible for 9/11, or Iran responsible for 9/11? Not directly, but they harbored some of the people responsible, I believe. So,
weren't they Syrian and Saudi?
They were Saudi.
100%.
Saudis, yeah.
They were Saudi, and a bunch of the Bin Laden family was allowed to exit the U.S. Grace.
Yeah. So that's why he's able to make those strikes.
Yeah. But Trump claimed that it was for the war on terror, right? So as long as there's some terrorist activity there, it gives them carte blanche to attack. That's why we're saying he could attack anywhere with that rule.
In practice, he can. According to the language of the law, the president is allowed to attack anybody he deems harboring terrorists.
Yeah.
That's what the law says. And Congress passed the law, so it's still in effect. And whether we're nuts or not, that's what the fucking law says.
PC, welcome.
Hey, PC. PC's the greatest.
PC is good.
I'm looking to see if any other updates are coming out. I'm scanning through all the media.
Probably nothing new. What I was watching earlier.
It's morning over there now.
Yeah. Well, what I was watching earlier said we probably wouldn't get a report on the actual damage for 24 hours.
So. I don't know. Hegseth might have messaged about it.
Oh, dude, I keep meaning to download Signal just in case I can get a random fucking invite to the fucking.
Just send him a question, get added to all his stuff. Yep.
I mean, he had his like username and shit like that still public, like on his LinkedIn, on his PayPal. Like he didn't do any cleaning of his like online profile at all. Like his email was out there. It's like, dude, come on, you gotta stop. Listen
Can't
to the
remember
class.
I can't remember where I saw it, but I saw it was posted on Truth Social today. I saw it through something else. Trump posted fucking a picture, 45, 47, and 48. Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Fucking asshole.
Good luck with that.
Apparently, there's a deadly tornado ripping through North Dakota.
Really?
Well,
Just to top everything else
It
off.
wouldn't be Saturday without a natural disaster.
Yeah, of course.
Right. Hey, you know what I never talked about today? Shot of
Pope
-9.
Leo, AI must help and not hinder.
You
Children
yelled
and
right
young
over the
people.
top of Ollie, Jen.
Yeah.
Bad
Sorry.
Jen.
Yeah. I shot a -9 today. I had a really good round, even though it was windy.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Got it for a good round.
So you cheated.
No, I had a couple other people with me
Come
today.
on,
in now.
Mikey, that's not fair.
Lucas Tomlinson.
Let's see what they're saying.
He is live outside the White House tonight. Lucas,
Oh, God.
I'm sure probably a lot of activity in there.
There's no question, Sean. We're about 45 minutes away from President Trump addressing the nation from the White House after those unprecedented strikes against Iran's nuclear enrichment sites, 3 in all in Isfahan, Fordo, and Natanz. And you mentioned the 6 bunker-busting bombs, Sean, that the president told
6? How much money are we fucking spending on this?
Half
Plenty.
Oh my God. 6?
It's an investment in the future, Mikey.
Oh my God. We need health care. What the fuck are y'all doing?
It's an investment in the future.
That means 3 B-2 bombers were involved in the strikes tonight because each B-2 bomber can only carry 2 of those 15-ton bunker-busting bombs. So that means 3 B-2 bombers were involved. And as we heard from Jennifer's reporting, it's likely deception was involved. Everyone woke up this morning to chatter about these 6 B-2 bombers flying west over the Pacific, refueling over Hawaii at about 11 p.m. But it's clear now that those were decoys and that another flight of B-2s flew east, likely 3 of them. When you said 6 bunker-busting bombs were dropped, that flight that went east went to the target and annihilated Fordo, as we're hearing, likely destroying Iran's nuclear enrichment program. As you mentioned, for 11 years, President Trump has made clear that Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. That was his red line, and tonight he enforced.
I don't know that we get to say that.
We certainly don't yet,
it's
because they
news.
haven't figured out the damage report hasn't actually happened.
I'm just
Trump
saying,
is saying now.
I'm just saying, I don't know that we can be like, hey, you don't get to have that. I don't know that we have the authority over someone else. Like, you can't have that, actually.
It's Fox News. They don't care.
I mean,
Look, it's the art of a deal.
I mean, Russia
Mikey, you don't get it. It's the art of a deal. It's the art of taking the nuclear deal, ripping it up, and then saying "fuck you" when they, don't adhere to the deal you ripped up. It's the art of a deal.
Well,
what are you talking about?
The danger with the position of taking the position you don't get to have that is that now you're in the position of everyone else saying, who's going to stop me? And then you have to say, I am, all the time, which means you're putting yourself in the position of literally being the world's policeman, and and you have to maintain that position forever until somebody figures out a way around it, and then you're putting yourself on the other side of the coin.
But the problem in that is, whilst you're threatening everyone, the person that you're threatening everyone in defense of is much closer to the danger than you are. So whilst we're telling people what they can and cannot do, we are in no way in danger from these things. So I just think it's rich to be like, yo, we're going to shut down other people's shit. I mean, it's cool to pee in your own pool, Right.
Mikey.
Because I mean, I bought it. I put the chlorine in the motherfucker. I'm pissing it if I want to. But you probably shouldn't pee in other people's pool. Because
It's
they
not
do
just
the chemicals. They do the pH balance.
It's not just rich, Mikey. It's uranium enriched rich.
Mm-hmm. Yellow cake rich.
I low-key want to talk about this obvious psyop in the chat saying, remember all the Genocide Joe stuff from the left led to this?
How?
I don't understand the correlation whatsoever here.
It's such a reach. Like it's honestly kind of sad. Like it's kind of sad. Like
also
at this point, hold on. At this point, if people are still trying to blame shit on Joe Biden, who literally did nothing but appease everybody on the right's favorite country, Israel, he has done nothing but give Israel exactly what they wanted. As far as foreign policy goes, you guys love Biden. So I don't want to hear no bullshit now talking about Biden did exactly what Trump did. He did the exact same thing. He did the exact same thing as Trump on a lot of things, which is why he's so hated on the left. So it's just like, remember the genocide. What are you talking about?
And it's the people in the chat who are making that case are not looking at the current situation, because the current situation has nothing to do with Joseph Robinette Biden. It has everything to do with the Robinette.
No, I call him Robin's
potato. Give me
Robin's egg. I always call him Robin's egg.
Okay, that's fine.
Joseph Robin's egg.
But it has nothing to do. I'm not going to violate terms of service here. I'm just basically saying it's got no fucking thing to do with the past. It has to do with, is it a wise idea? Is it impossible for you guys to not just take the situation and evaluate it on its merits? Is it a smart idea to bomb Iran right now?
Well, like I said, I think the
apparently
two accounts
for some people, it's the most brilliant thing ever. Bomb Iran. Let's do that. But don't be surprised when the Gulf of Hormuz gets mined, when the Straits of Hormuz get mined. And we have to clear those mines. And other powers are going to need to be involved. And we're going to need allies to help us do that. And we're going to need we're going to need international agreement that what we did was okay, cool, except you need to keep in mind that Iran is a major supplier of military arms to Russia, and they're not going to be happy about us taking down their capacity to do that.
All right, hold on one second. Let me do a commercial.
We don't.
Let me do a quick commercial break here. Hello, everybody. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Mikey Famine, producer over here at the Den Podcast Network. If you'd like to join us in the chat, by all means, hit that sub button. We're really close to 1,000. We would appreciate it. Just because there's a lot of people here and we don't want to lose all of the things. Bowler Hatman, I see you in the chat. Have an air horn. But hello, everyone. Welcome in. We normally have shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Central, the best time, Central Time. And then 11 on Tuesday and Thursday. And then on Thursday night, we have Unboxed Politics, where we rate your favorite political clips from all your favorite actors and losers. Do you want a link, brother? Let me get you in here. Let me get Bowler Hatman in here.
Yeah.
Also, before we get too far away from the topic we were talking about,
just Genesis. We got to address what 218 said.
I was literally just going to say that.
Okay,
I think both 218 here and Agent 00 Soul, as I said, Stephanie, before you continued on, I think they're both PSYOP accounts. I think they're like posturing.
Yeah.
Could be.
But to say that Trump's deal is stricter than Obama's is just bullshit, because Trump ripped up the deal. He might have said zero enrichment, but if you don't have a deal, then there's nothing there to enforce it. So he did nothing to actually enforce the 0%. Your whole statement's bullshit. So
whatever. I
maybe that
mean, I
works on
think
people.
I think it's incumbent upon people to evaluate the circumstances as they exist, not as that they imagine they might have existed if uh, name your politician was in the office. Is bombing Iran a wise idea? Apparently, some people think it was, and I'm happy to argue that it's really stupid. No matter who isn't occupying the office, I just, and this is a failing. I think that I think that frequently people chase after uh, things that aren't real because they wish they were different, but they're not different. Things that aren't real.
Sorry. I was just trying to copy the link to shill it out, and then it opened and started playing. My bad.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's all right. Whatever.
I tried to.
That
mute
was my
myself,
only
I couldn't
point.
do it.
I'm sorry.
I get the perspective that we should be like denouncing when people, you know, promote this imagined version of events. At the same time, I don't think these people are arguing in good faith in the first place.
Absolutely
so
not.
arguing against them,
Exactly.
in
That's
my
what I'm
opinion-
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not dealing with it. You're not dealing with the reality. The reality is we just bombed Iran. What is going to be the consequence of that? Do you care about the consequences of that? No. All your arguments are, well, Joe Biden, well, Kamala Harris, well, Bernie Sanders, well, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. I mean, that's a horseshit. No, you
What
need to
aboutism-
understand. We
if
just bombed a nation of 90 million people. Do you think they are going to do nothing about it? If you do, you're a fucking idiot.
I got a bridge to sell you.
I agree. Whataboutism is like always just annoying to deal with. I want to also
really-
talk about 2018
really
or 218 here. I'm sorry, Steph. I want to talk about 218 here again, saying Trump's hypothetical deal. Dude, you must be trolling. You must be motherfucking trolling. Get out of here with that shit. Honestly, I'm gonna log into YouTube.
Or just
You
talk
may-
to hey Jen. Or just talk to us.
Yeah.
I got this. You don't even have to talk to them. I got it.
No, I
It's
wasn't
all
gonna talk
good.
to him. I was gonna use mod powers on them.
Yeah, don't do that. Just talk. You're here to have the conversation. I don't need you
Yep.
to police them. They're fine. We want them to argue because the chat is full of people who are ready for them to make some sort of case, and then they will have to defend themselves. What are you making with the Badgers? Love the Badgers. I don't know how many Badgers were killed. Iran has Badgers too. One Angry Pagan cares for all Badgers, no matter the geographic location.
Does that include honey badgers, which are not technically true badgers?
Aren't they weasels?
They're a mustelid, but so are badgers, but they're in a different part of a mustelid line than true badgers.
They're all stinky boys.
My favorite mustelid, of course, being the Wolverine.
Also smelly.
Yes, but they also are terrifying, and I love them.
Smelly little stink pots. All right. Well, it's been a little time, so I will go back and play Trump's thing again because some people may have just joined us, so I will let them hear it for themselves.
I probably have more to say about this too on rewatching it now that it's sat for a little bit in my brain case.
Here he is.
Here he comes. Here comes the president.
We've seen this walk so many times. Moments of history, moments of controversy, and today a seismic moment in terms of the Middle East.
Thank you very much. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime, Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people.
Okay, hold on. They were not making roadside bombs in a centrifuge. Like, come on, brother. I know you just trying to freestyle over here, but you are all over the place.
And hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before.
Wait a minute, dog. Wait, y'all was the greatest team ever. Now all of a sudden, now you were the greatest. Now y'all was Shaq and Kobe. Y'all was Shaq and Kobe. Okay.
Hey, Ollie.
We've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. Really? With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a...
Everybody remember, he's going to thank God, and it's going to be great.
Oh. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago.
We literally made those bombs, so yeah, we invented them.
Can I just point out Rubio in the background? Rubio actually seems to be the only one actually going, "Oh Jesus Christ, you've just made like my next 24 hours hell."
No, if you look, both Vance and Hegseth are shooting daggers every now and then and side eyes. No, all three of the people behind him look so uncomfortable. None of them want to be here.
Well, JD in particular has got that what the actual fuck look on his face.
You can see when Trump says Pete Hegseth's name that Pete Hegseth takes like a big gulp, like you can see it coming up.
When are we gonna get the blame for this? When are we gonna be the ones left holding the bag for all this?
I'm so sick of him walking around using the fucking American flag as a pocket square. Like, if that doesn't represent what this fucking administration thinks about America and the Constitution, I don't know what does. There is a reason why you don't have an American flag handkerchief. It's because you would never blow your fucking nose in it.
Oh,
yeah. And he
Kind of looks
wears it around.
Kind of looks like Stan Smith's outfit from American Dad.
Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Jesus Christ.
And then the awkward walkout.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Declaring Iran.
when he walks up and when he walks out, just imagine the music from Casino's ending.
Well, let's let Bowler Hatman in here. Morning, Ollie.
Good morning.
What? So in the
Hi.
UK at the moment, it's like peak summer. So bright as all hell this morning. It's only 5:30. I wake up and I think, oh, I'll just put on like a YouTube stream. Maybe put some ASMR on. Maybe this will help me sleep. Oh wow. The Bin podcast is live streaming. What's going on? What's going on? And then I turn it on and there's just there's Stephanie here. Hi, nice to meet you. Going,
Hi,
we've just bombed Iran, and I'm like, what?
But why?
Why? There is like I've said this I don't know how many times. Right, in 2016, not 2016. I can't remember when Obama signed the deal. Sorry, it's like really early morning here for me, so my brain is not in gear yet. But when Obama signed that deal, you had Republicans of like even like hardcore war hawk Republicans going, yeah, there's with this deal signed, there is no reason to go to war with Iran. And then Trump ripped it up, and I'm just like,
peak diplomacy. Some would say.
Yeah,
we got something for nothing.
Why?
Something literally for nothing. We unfroze money that we had froze, and then they said, "Okay, we'll stop."
Yep.
Sounds like a good fucking deal to me.
Yeah,
but hey, this is cheaper, I guess.
Gave everything the Americans wanted. They had full access to go and do, site visits organized by the UN. The UN would be doing that. They'd be looking all of that, and it's just like, you rip that all up.
Wait, has it been 2 weeks? Like when you're in the Trump timeline, shit does kind of travel weird.
Days.
Like, man, maybe it was 2 weeks and we just don't remember it. I don't know. Time is a flat circle.
I'm telling you, like with the speed of information whenever this guy is in office, it is impossible for me to keep up with basically anything, with how much is coming out minute by minute, right?
Yeah, I just want to point out something, because One Angry Pagan just brought up this in the chat as well. I really do hope Starmer keeps out of this. I hope Starmer.
No, yes, your best
stays
friend.
away
I don't know if there's a way for Starmer to keep out of it, on account of the fact that if the B-2s flew from Diego Garcia, that's UK territory.
Yeah,
that's a problem. That there's and while the narrative has been that the flight of B-2s out of Diego Garcia that happened yesterday or the day before, I can't remember which, but I did see that, and I sort of said, that's a problem.
The Shal in the chat says Carney and the rest of Parliament must come out and denounce the U.S. in the strongest terms. Sanctions should be considered as well against the U.S. I couldn't be mad at it. I couldn't be mad at it.
And Diego, and that's another. This is another piece of nuance here. It's like, if we did this without the UK's assent, all the basing rights in Diego are at risk. Or they're going to have to make a decision. And by the way, is that a Lancaster Rose?
No, Lancaster. Wow. Yeah, them's fighting words. Them's fighting words.
I'm sorry. Okay, so it's a York Rose.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
Okay, so now
right
we're talking about rivalries that go back to the fucking 14th century.
Speaking of bombs,
all right.
Okay. Well, we played his words again. We'll reread this too, because we'll probably just do that on like a 15-minute basis or whatever. So people are asking, well, how can he do this without Congress and da 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 da? If you guys remember 9/11, the AUMF stands for the Authorization for use of military force. It's a specific type of joint resolution passed by the United States Congress, most notably the one passed on September 18, 2001, in response to the September 11th attacks. This 2001 AUMF authorized the president to use military force against those responsible for the attacks and those who harbored them. So the Patriot Act. So he has 30 days to do what he has to do, and then he has to go out in front of Congress and explain why he should have been able to do what he did. But yeah, so who knows what? Yeah, Congress is probably not going to
Donald
do
isn't the
anything.
guy who really pays attention to law very carefully.
Yeah, I think he's going to use the justification that Israel's been using, that, oh, they were about to make a nuclear bomb, and that's why we had to go after them.
Yeah.
But then this opens up a massive can of worms for all kinds of other, like, preemptive strikes for other countries to use for justifications then. Like, oh, they were about to attack us, or they were doing something we didn't like militarily, so we had to attack them. This once again destroys our entire like post World War II consensus that we've lived with for years.
All
This
the
is
norms, yeah.
terrifying. Yeah, this is terrifying. You want to know the only silver lining to this? Like, because there is a slight silver lining to this.
Oh, here we go.
I think Ukraine might have gotten a big reprieve because obviously Iran is like one of their number one like weapon suppliers of like drones, missiles. Well, now Iran's not going to be, shall we say, too keen on selling those missiles and drones to Ukraine when they're going to be probably needing them themselves to defend themselves with. So, you know,
well, you know who Iran's friends with?
Exactly, Russia.
Yeah, you know,
exactly.
Like I mean,
but what's Russia got to give to Iran?
Steph, you are too far away. You have to wait until you're back in front of the camera.
But the whole other argument is,
I'm sure, Bowler Hatman, I'm sure you meant Russia, because it's like Russia is the prime recipient of the low tech drone stuff that Iran produces, and all of those bombs are landing on Ukraine. So yeah, Ukraine's going to be a beneficiary here.
Yep.
But
yeah.
Iran is, I'm sure, counting on Russia stepping up to.
Yeah. But what's Russia got to use? Because all their stuff is literally like currently lined around Ukraine. They haven't got anything
Nuclear
to send to
weapons. Russia is the other nuclear power here. Iran never was. It is a nuclear power. And if they want to go there, if they find it in their interest, in their national interest to go there, they will. Yeah. And that means what for us?
I love that how, you know, because you look at what World War I, World War II, you know, these wars were really all just like separate wars that all just got, you know, all mangled together into like one gigantic conflict. And you're like, we've got like the Ukraine war, right? We've now got the Iran war. Could we have, I don't know, China deciding this is the time to go for Taiwan?
Exactly. Exactly. Like everything was already, like the dominoes were already leaning a little bit.
Yeah.
All like multiple dominoes were already on a bit of an angle. So this doesn't help, to say the least.
If there's a historical analogy, it is August 1914. If there is any sort of historical analogy, I think it's close to that, where global hegemons are experiencing the decline of empire and all of that. And I think it's not a pleasant time to be alive.
Yep.
It's like we had all green lights in front of us, and they're like, no, crank the wheel to the left and run into the guardrail. It's like, but why? But why? We could have, like, we were probably like, what, 30, 40 years away from Star Trek? We could have been there. We could have got there. You know what I mean? We could have got the Galactic Federation going, or the United Federation of Planets. We could have got some sort of like galactic thing going, get some spaceships, tool around, go see Jupiter.
Always remember Star Trek, the Star Trek timeline, World War III had happened.
Oh my God, we are doing
That's
Star
true.
Trek, but we're just
That
in the
is
fucking
true.
shitty part. God damn. This is like I always like hated, well, would have hated if I was like born in like the first age or the second age of like Lord of the Rings. Nah, dude, put me in like the fourth or fifth age after all the ring shit, the dragons, all that shit is gone and done with. Of course, we had to be fucking born in Smaug area, arena era. Like, this sucks.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
this is another thing.
Want to
If you
go?
look at- Oh, that's right. Yeah.
If you want to go Lord of the Rings, it's like no one wants to live in these times, but it's our task to deal with what we've got to deal with here in the here and now, which is why I'm amused by the people in the chat saying, "Well, Obama and blah blah blah." It's like you're not even dealing with the present. This what's happening now is what you should be concerned about, but you're so goddamn got so much of a hair across your ass about seeing what just happened that you're not even talking about what just happened. You want to go back to, well, you know, what just happened doesn't matter because so and so did something blah 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 worse. You're cutting off consideration of what's the proceed. Where do we go from here? I don't want to know where we go from where we stood in 2016. I want to know where we go from here.
Yeah.
And
Consequences.
until people are willing
Find
to
out.
talk about that, then just lose me with that bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of like people and consequences, have you guys seen the letter that the Abandon Harris movement put out like a couple of days ago?
Mm-mm.
Oh my word! This I have like zero sympathy for those people who basically said, "Yeah, we think Trump's going to be a better president," and I'm like, given what's just happened this morning, how on earth do you think this is better? Like, how on earth could have Harris got us to this situation? Like, I could not think to live in a worse timeline. And now they're threatening to use their quote power of the movement to not vote for Harris, to then not vote for Trump. But Trump was the guy who won when those people didn't vote for Harris. And then they also claimed that they're the ones who cost Harris the White House in that letter. So I'm like, which is again a very dubious claim to make at best. But oh wow.
I said this a bit earlier, but there isn't much Joe Biden could have done differently that Republicans wouldn't have, like, as far as foreign policy wise. He gave them everything they want. He gave Israel every single bomb they asked for. He turned the other way when all the war crime videos started coming out. They've had a right winger doing foreign policy for them for the last 4 years. So bringing up anyone else when your modus operandi has been followed and your steps have been followed for the last 8 years, like, what are you talking about? He continued on with what Trump was talking about. He did the same thing. It's the same.
Mm-hmm.
The American people recognize that. So Harris saying, "Oh well, I wouldn't have done anything different than Joe Biden." There you go. That's why people got pissed, because, like, well, we don't want you to do that. We don't want that.
Biden was bad in many ways for this, but we knew that he was holding Israel back. And I know that's like, oh, he didn't hold Israel back at all. He did curb a lot of their worser instincts. He was saying you can't do that behind the scenes. So
I think it's
for a lot of stuff Biden bears for that, he was, holding Israel back. The second you put Trump in, Trump didn't care. Trump just went, you go do what you want, Israel. You go crazy.
none of us here can say what Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, were they in power right now, would do in this situation. My own personal inclination is to think they probably wouldn't have bombed Iran. And I think that that's the salient question. What do we do now? Was that a wise decision or not? Well, I suppose we might all agree here on this panel that it wasn't a good decision. But now that it's been taken, what do we do with it? And for all of the people in the chat that are making the argument that this could have happened or that could have happened, I'm more concerned about what just happened. Never mind what the might have beens are like, because right now we have to deal with the fact that a nation of 90 million people has just been attacked by us, and they're going to respond, and we're going to have to deal with the consequences of that response. And whoever's going to deal with those consequences is us. It's not going to be Kamala Harris, and it's not going to be Joe Biden. It's going to be us.
Go ahead, Jen.
All right, I just didn't want to derail this while y'all were striking, while the thoughts were coming in. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about at least the initial response from the international community on this. And I just found an article from MSN about Australia's response. It seems like there's divisiveness in the country.
You want to put it in the chat, in the private chat, and then I'll pull up on screen?
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot a link.
Okay. And we will read along with you.
Brilliant.
And hello, all you new people. How y'all doing? Like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. You know.
Yeah.
Do all that good stuff. We're talking about real issues, so I hate to have to shill. So just push the button so I don't have to say it. It makes it awkward in times like these. But we do have bills to pay. Yeah, Triton's got it.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
Mark, why aren't you in here?
I did it. I knew he was going to yell at me. Okay, let me replay that. Pull this up. Okay. Ooh.
Oh my God, have you seen the photos from Trump in the Situation Room, sat with his MAGA hat on?
Oh God,
it's insane.
With a ball cap on. Okay, let's see here. Australia has called for a de-escalation as the situation in the Middle East continues to devolve following Donald Trump's decision to bomb Iran. The U.S. military struck 3 Iranian nuclear facilities on Sunday morning, AEEST. In a move, the American president declared a spectacular military success. We'll see about that, won't we? But the conflict can continue to worsen, as Mr. Trump warned. There will be peace, or there will be tragedy for Iran greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. The Australian government has consistently pushed for dialogue and diplomacy since Israel first launched strikes on Iran in mid-June, and has continued to do so in the aftermath of Mr. Trump's announcement. And then there's his bullshit thing. Where's their response? Oh, there's a video. Let's see. What y'all talking about, Australia? Unmute.
Tomorrow, it could mean 2 weeks. He's always had a habit of pushing things out for 2 weeks that he doesn't necessarily want to make a decision on at that time. But obviously something like this has been in train for, potentially the last 24 hours, and now it's happened. The news we woke to this morning, of course, in Australia was that the United States had moved those B-2 bombers into the region. We were talking a couple of hours ago about whether that was perhaps a sort of negotiating move, a show of strength to indicate to Iran that the United States was serious as perhaps a way of getting talks towards a ceasefire or another nuclear deal to end a nuclear program underway. It now looks as though it was those B-2 bombers were moving there to do what they've just done. I think this. We're also talking this morning about potential unforeseen circumstances, but repercussions. There'll also be foreseen repercussions. The first one is from the beginning, Iran was saying that if the United States entered this conflict, whether it was through missile strikes or even defending Israel from incoming missiles, let alone this, that Iran would respond, and it would respond against United States military assets in the region. There are a lot of United States military assets in the region. There are even more now.
Yeah.
It's not just the B-2 bombers that have been moved in. There's now a second aircraft carrier group that has been moved in. Lots of refueling aircraft, lots of fighter aircraft have been moved in. But that's
we just told all the aircraft carriers and jets and planes and shit. We just said, hey, don't need gas because we need to do this. So we didn't need to fill up all them motherfuckers to take them all the way across the globe.
on top of the thousands of American military personnel who are permanently stationed there at bases that are dotted all over the Gulf and around the Middle East. They're now targets.
I mean, a perilous decision for the US, not just because of that Iranian or the prospect of Iranian retaliation, but also Donald Trump personally, right? He won the White House on this idea that he'd keep America out of these conflicts. He scoffed at the idea of American interventionism. Sounds like the complete opposite is happening now. He's being dragged further in to these conflicts.
Yep, and people would be aware that this debate, this divide has been going inside the conservative side of American politics over the past couple of days. I'm sure people have seen that clip of Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz essentially representing the old guard of.
Oh boy, did we watch that. That was fantastic.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see what the MAGA crowd does for this, because he is right. He is right. They were pushing this, that Trump was going to be the zero war president. And well, here you go, guys.
That only took 6 months.
I'm not sure. About all this. I mean, I think Bannon was a shocker to me, coming out as forthrightly as he did. And maybe that's true, but I just think these guys are I think the rank and file is too bought into hate. As long as there's someone they can hate on, they're gonna be getting their jollies. And so now they've got the Iranians to hate on. So I think they'll just carry on. I think that the vast majority of the MAGA base just doesn't care. Just point us at somebody to despise, and we'll just go ahead and do that. And never mind nuance. They're not really big on nuance, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, you know what this is also going to lead? More nuclear proliferation.
Yay!
Absolutely.
Back in 2016,
absolutely.
North Korea went, you won't attack us because we've got long-range ballistic missiles, we've got nuclear missiles. They will go to diplomacy, and Trump went and kissed Kim Jong's ring, and now
love letters back and forth.
And now this has happened in Iran. It's basically just shown that if you are a country that wants to do some, I don't know, maybe you want to take over a smaller country and you don't want America getting involved, well, just have yourself a nuclear weapon and, you might be all right.
Duke of Bread typed in a little bit ago, right-wing politics is a cult. You cannot placate them. They do not actually want anything but endless suffering for outgroups and victory for themselves. Well said. Well placed. That's it. They'll never be happy because they don't want to be happy. They just want more people unhappy. That's the difference.
Exactly. Thank you for being the soul of wit, aka employing brevity. That's basically what I'm saying. It's like they don't care. The MAGA base, they don't think deeply. They don't worry about international consequences. They don't they don't play that game. They just want somebody to focus their bile against, and now they got another source.
It really is funny though that MAGA and the Republican Party right now truly is the manifestation of misery loves company. Like that's all it is, But the reason why I send that article is I just wanted to talk about both the opposition leader and the spokesman for Foreign Affairs joint statement that they said the world can never accept a nuclear-armed Iranian regime, and today the United States military has taken proactive action to ensure that we will never need to. And then the Green Party leader, let me see, not the Green Party, the Greens leader, Larissa Waters said that this was like terrifying and catastrophic escalation. You cannot bomb your way to peace. Australia must always work for peace and de-escalation. Australia is not powerless, and we cannot be involved in another brutal war in the Middle East. And I bring this up because, I don't think it's talked about enough the way that like American conservative MAGAism has infested Australia. I don't know.
Oh yeah, same with the UK.
Yeah.
Same with Canada.
In parts of Canada.
Yeah.
All English-speaking countries have also been infected with the Trump virus.
Yeah,
I know, but I don't think it's talked about enough in terms of like when we think of Australia.
Oh, they've been down a dark path for a while.
Yeah,
they had their own Boris Johnson. Like they're they've been doing it.
Yeah, and I'm basically I'm agreeing with the comment in chat here that is that the Trump base.
Oh no, we got a McKinnon.
The Trump base will distance itself from the Steve Bannons and the Tucker Carlsons before they'll distance themselves from Trump. They're just, it's the cult of personality thing. I think,
I just love how everyone gets to have their own type of conservative ideology. It's like having your own little Pokemon. Everyone has a unique one, and you just follow and do everything that your guy says. You got the Tucker Carlson fans who are diehard Tucker Carlson fans. You got the Elon boys. You have the Tesla boys.
So instead of the love for catching them all to bind everyone together to play the same game, it's just the love of hating others.
Exactly.
Power to the people.
Right.
Says in the chat, why shouldn't Iran have nuclear weapons when Russia does, America does, Israel does, Pakistan does, India does? I understand why they want to join the party. It doesn't mean I approve. I understand. And this is Son David. Hi, I looked your name up. I disagree to some extent. I think the MAGA base are so invested in Trump, a candidate designed specifically to seduce them. They are willing to follow him off a cliff, then admit they are wrong.
That's the comment I was agreeing with.
Yeah, here's the problem, though. There is no climb up from the cliff mechanism. You know what I mean? So as everyone on the other side of the congressional aisle is like, yo, I get that you're happy you won, but you do understand that none of us will eat if you do this. And it's like, you're just mad because you lost. I'm like, no, that's our food money. Like, you probably shouldn't waste that. Yeah. You're just so woke. You're triggered. And it's like, are you okay? I got you. It's like, is he all right? And they're just like frothing at the mouth because they're so proud of themselves that they fucking voted. Newsflash, everybody votes. You know what I mean? But they like, I voted and I won something, so now we're in charge. It's like, yeah. You know what being in charge means? Dealing with this dealing with all this bullshit. It's work. It's not a fucking beauty pageant where you get to be like fucking or a homecoming king, and then like, and now all of all of the fucking vending machines will have Coke product. Like, that's not. He won a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the suckiest job you could ever want. That's why a lot of people who would be great presidents never run for fucking politics, because it's a pain in the dick. No one wants to do this shit. It fucking sucks. You have to argue with fucking idiots all fucking day. You have to fucking go meet all these foreign dignitaries and pretend to give a shit about what they talk about. Meanwhile, Medicare needs more money. This needs more money. Unless you just go in there and say, I'm going to evaporate all of the stuff that keeps your life convenient and safe and legal. Like I don't know if you guys are aware, all of these, I'm not going to bed yet, phone. All of these things all of these like pillars of American society that he's destroying intentionally will not come back overnight. So even when he's gone, even when your MAGA glow has lessened, we're still going to be cleaning this shit up. Like, you're still going to be wanting things to be good in your community, your municipality, wherever the fuck you are. You're going to want things to be normal again. It is never going to go back. And that's what we were trying to warn you guys. It will never go back to the way that it was before. If you guys remember flying on planes in like 2000 or 95 and all those, it will never be like that again in this country.
That's
never.
right.
That time period, that era has passed. So the era in which you have competent leadership in this country is waning. It's damn near gone already, because everyone's a fucking coward now, and they're scared about somebody putting money in an election to run against you. But this kind of shit, where we're dealing with fucking strikes on countries that have complicated relationships with their neighbors and complicated enemy relationships who we're kind of enemies with, but not. He has not read a fucking military briefing in 10 years. All that shit that was in Mar-a-Lago, all those files, you know what that shit was? Crack reporting over here at the Ben Podcast. Thank you very much, Mikey family. I'm going to toot my own horn for that. Where is it? Because I fucking called it. He does, like, every morning at 7 or 8 a.m., somebody's job is to walk into that fucking office with several binders of reports and to brief him on what happened while he went to sleep last night. He ignored that shit for 4 fucking years. Meanwhile, those same diligent employees had to keep making that report, and them reports just started stacking up. And then he just started inviting everybody and their mama down to Mar-a-Lago. And now Russia's our best friend, and now we'll never do anything against Russia, and Israel can have whatever they want. Like, if y'all are still on the same bullshit where you imagine that he is doing anything to help you, you're wrong. And I'm here to tell you, I'm here to snap you out of it. Like, if this is not indication enough, he never gave a shit about any of the stuff that he was talking about. There you go. We told you. But now that you've heard the I told you so, get the fuck up and come over here and help us unfuck this. Because we could all just leave and leave you with the fucked up shit, which is kind of where I am right now. I don't know about the rest of the Americans, but I'm kind of on the thing like, fucking Japan sounds great. Japan sounds amazing right now.
I mean,
well, and we're watching this in the side chat with some people who are basically saying, "What are you talking about? This is great," and blah blah blah. But none of these people are thinking about, well, what happens tomorrow? This guy went ahead and did this, but what happens tomorrow? Are you going to be happy when petroleum futures go to shit? Are you going to be happy when the entire fucking country basically says this is a really dumb idea? It's like, probably not going to be, but still, you're just going to be sitting there sniping away and saying, well, Kamala, and well, Bernie, and well, this, well, that. It's like, no, get real. These kinds of things, when you go out and kill people, it has consequences. You can't insult the dignity of 90 million people and expect all of them to basically say, well, it was actually good for the United States of America to come bomb the fuck out of us.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm on
that's
America's side.
silly.
Yeah, I think this all goes to what you've just touched on, the fact that, you know, the Republicans, especially Trump, you know, we've seen it over here as well, that, oh, you know, we conservatives might be bad, but, you know, those Democrats, oh, those crafty Democrats, they're like even worse. And I'm like, what do you want about? We've just managed to get rid of, like, you know, 14 years of, you know, conservative government. And quite frankly, even though I do disagree with like some of the stuff that like Starmer and the current Labour government have done, I'll tell you what, I am like 100 times more confident in this government, because they are competent, they are doing their jobs. And if you look at like when we had like the Tory government in, they were like every single day something was going wrong, something was happening, and it was the fault they were making. And now we've got this Labour government in, and that's what you need to do. You need to now organize, push out any sort of bad Democrats, go into the Democrat Party, take it over, start fighting. You are going to lose. Like, initially, you will lose battles, but the war will be worth winning, because you will get better Democrats, you will get better elected representatives, and it all starts right at a ground level. All starts right at a ground level. You know, you've got to win, you know, your local town halls right all the way up. If you can start there, build there, might take some time, but it'll be worth it. Much more worth it when you do that.
We got 2 British pounds from Power to the People with Graham Price. Just want to show a bit of support. Keep it up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Air horns. And this from Sun David. The reason Americans have a cavalier attitude to war is the fact that they haven't experienced the horror of it on their home soil for quite some time. We've never experienced it on our home soil. Not a foreign war. Not since we became the U.S.
Not even since the War of 1812.
I mean, what's it called? I mean, even Pearl Harbor, like Hawaii wasn't even a state yet. We were just occupying Hawaii and put a military base there. So that wasn't even American soil because it wasn't a state yet. We took over that country, the country of Hawaii afterwards, the kingdom there.
9/11 would be kind of a taste, right?
I mean, kind of. That was one attack. My bad. I meant Moon Chris. I was talking about Moon Chris. What you talking about?
Yeah.
Moon Chris. But I do have that that article you pulled up. You talked about, Jen. For immediate release, a message to President Donald J. Trump and Vice President J.D. Jonathan Donald Vance from the Abandon Harris movement. This is from last week. 5 days ago. We speak at a perilous moment. Israel has attacked Iran. A war has erupted. Civilians are dying. The region is spiraling into chaos. And the world now stands on the brink of nuclear disaster. If only you knew. This is not just a regional conflict. It's a global crisis, and it threatens every one of us. In October 23, Muslim American leaders issued an ultimatum to President Joe Biden, call for the ceasefire in Gaza and end the genocide. He ignored us. We launched the Abandon Biden movement. When Biden dropped out, we issued the same demand to Vice President Harris. She ignored us too. And in August 2024, we rebranded as Abandon Harris. Why did they tell us this like we fucking care? We organized across every swing state. We moved voters, and we cost Kamala Harris the White House.
Very dubious claim. Very dubious claim.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Let that serve as a reminder. Our demands are not symbolic. Our movement is not hypothetical. When our red lines are crossed, we act. President Trump, Vice President Vance, you promised the American people to end an end to endless wars. You promised to put America first. You promised to stop funding genocide. Those were just your words today. Those promises are on the line. We have learned that Israel is pressuring the United States to enter this war. You must not comply. Do not enter this war. Bold. To do so would be a catastrophic betrayal, not only to your promises, but of the American people. It would cost trillions of dollars, trigger widespread economic collapse, and worst of all, lead to the deaths of untold numbers of innocents. We cannot afford another reckless military campaign. We cannot afford another war built on someone else's agenda. Let us be clear, if this administration leads the U.S. into this war, we will respond. Oh, let's see how this will go. With the full strength of our movement. Yeah, that did great against the B-2 bombers, dumbass. Just as we did in 2024, we will mobilize in every battleground state to ensure you are held accountable at the ballot box in 2026 and beyond. But far beyond politics, the consequences of this war will be lasting and devastating. History will not forget who escalated it, and neither will we. We will not stand idle. We will not be silent. We will do everything in our power to stop this war before it begins. And that's from the Abandon Harris movement.
Good. That just goes to show how naive can you be?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You know.
Go ahead, Jen. Hold on a second.
Come on.
I just want to say, when they were listing off their like history as a movement, it sounded like the B-roll villain in a One Punch Man episode, like hyping themselves up, like my village was attacked by a blah, 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 and I ate so many sandwiches I became sandwich. You know, it's just like the backstory for like what is ultimately like, who gives a fuck?
No one cared. No one cared about your thing. And honestly, the whole point of your thing didn't help this at all. So thanks.
Yeah, so it's like
you did a great job so far. Great job. Keep up the great work. You're really helping.
Great job making sure that the current pass we've come to was actually going to occur. You know,
thanks for cementing in the concrete.
Yeah.
You know,
here is the leopards ate my face.
That's what I meant with my comment. How naive can you be? I mean, my goodness, really?
Yeah. He lied. That's all he does is lie. He went to Dearborn, Michigan, and he talked to the imams and he talked to the people in the Muslim community, and they had a list of 5 things, and he said, "I'll do all 5." He lied about all 5 of them. What are y'all talking about? Of course he lied.
I mean, Trump's one of them. Trump's one of them people that could say 2 words and tell 4 lies in 1 sentence. I mean, every single time the man opens his fucking mouth, I mean, 50% of it might be true, but like not likely.
What are you talking about? This is not a lie.
That's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets
This
left.
is just a stream of consciousness.
Tonight's was the most.
No, he's reading. They would never trust him to like speak extemporaneously
whoever
right
wrote
now.
this, I'm saying, whoever wrote this, like this is like, I know he's reading off a teleprompter, but whoever wrote this, like,
it was probably Miller. It was probably him.
Difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh.
I mean, to the person in the chat who's asking, do I honestly think, or do we honestly think Kamala would have averted any of this? It's like, not necessarily, you know, speaking for myself, not necessarily, but I'll qualify that by saying, I think that her experience in foreign policy was substantially greater, and she probably would have considered the consequences more deeply than Trump did. And I don't think that anybody. I think that Trump is such a transactional guy that all he thinks about is, oh, I'm not popular anymore, so I need something to distract stuff from my waning popularity. And I don't think that that's where either Biden or Harris lie. But that's my own personal opinion. You can disagree with that. It's fine.
What I'd like to point out is that we'd be on a totally different track for the last 5-6 months. Just a so totally different track. There'd be so much more stabilization everywhere, right? Israel probably would have never attacked Iran had Harris got elected. Just straight up. Just probably wouldn't have happened because there'd be so much like Trump is the wild card here, just letting everybody say we can do whatever the fuck we want.
Exactly. The
and I would also and I would also say that on a personal level, I wouldn't be dealing with the fact that there's a administration in power in the United States of America who wants to take away my access to healthcare and the access to healthcare that people like me depend on for their lives. I don't.
We're not talking domestic though. Don't steer it back domestic.
I know.
I
know. We're talking about domestic. We're talking about foreign policy. But I think that all of these things are peace in broad scope. And it's frustrating to hear that an administration dedicated to terror, both domestically and internationally, is preferable to one not so dedicated. Just, I'm sorry, but I don't know how anyone can continue the the Democrats suck too, when it is absolutely demonstrable that the Democrats suck less. Okay, in both domestic and foreign policy than the MAGA outlook is, because the MAGA outlook is fundamentally we don't give a shit about anybody but us and our buddies. That's the fundamental ruling proposition for these guys. They're like Putin. We don't care if you're in with the in crowd, we're cool. If you're out of the in crowd, you're fucked. That's the way it works.
Also, I see this a bit over here as well in sort of places like Clacton. It's so bad for us here, then it should be bad for everyone else as well. So we're going to just pull you all down as well. Might be bad for us, but we're going to make it just as bad for you as well. I see that as well.
That's an awesome way to govern, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Jen.
Why not everybody hurt?
So before we get too far away from the things that Trump actually said, I want us all to take a moment to think about the actual things he fucking said. Because when he has that doofy, wall-eyed stare voice going on, he kind of lulls you into thinking that maybe with this line delivery, he's saying something substantial or something that at least is a coherent sentence. If you read word for word the captions, I don't know about y'all. It's
gobbledygook.
For the most part,
it's bullshit.
I didn't glean any new information from this other than fucking crazy. You know what I mean, right? It's a word salad of adjectives in the passive voice. It's an exercise in saying nothing.
I mean, to me, it shows he intends to bomb more targets. That this is just there's plenty more stuff we can bomb, and that's what's worrying. I mean, there's already missiles attacking Israel, so this hasn't stopped Iran at all.
All right, we got We got some reporting from Iran, from Al Jazeera, so let's give that a listen real quick.
Okay.
And what the damage assessment is at this hour.
And the delay.
Well, actually, when it comes to the early reactions, we've got this statement from the Atomic Energy Organization of the country, and also another statement just came out a few minutes ago about this about actually this signs of contamination. They said that there is no sign of nuclear contamination as of date, according to their data. It's a statement that we heard from the Center for Nuclear Safety. Also, they said that there is no danger for people living in the nearby area. But speaking of a previous statement that we got from the Nuclear Energy or Atomic Energy Organization of the country, they confirmed that 3 nuclear sites, Natanz, Fordo, and Isfahan, were targeted by the airstrikes of quote-unquote enemy. And also they said that that's a quite clear contradiction of international law, in particular NPT. Iran is a signatory of which, and also they said that IAEA, the UN nuclear watchdog, should be criticized for its indifference and quote unquote even support as a result of which this recent strikes are taking place. And also they said that these sites, these places targeted, were under full inspection of IAEA, and that the national industry related to nuclear program of the country is not going to be stopped there. This is the very latest statement that we have from the Iranian side. We are still waiting. I am sure that it doesn't answer the very fundamental question that is out there, which is how Iran is going to react right now.
Indeed.
For that, we are waiting for further military and political statements coming out, as this recent statement looks to be more technical, but we can
Let me ask you
consider
about
this bigger context in which Iran is saying,
and you
if
are right to say
United
that
States
it's
decides to.
Okay, I just want to come in here and say that is something well worth bringing up that he touched on, the fact that you are striking nuclear sites that have nuclear material that could, in an explosion, just go wee and just go everywhere. You know, there is a large risk there of some serious nuclear contamination, and if that happens, that's not going to get sorted out like anytime soon.
There isn't.
I mean, we hope so. At least
It doesn't work like that.
I mean,
like it has to get it has to get super critical, right? So like they're bombing the centrifuges, which is like where they would like gather the stuff. So by we had landed on Tuesday to like break it all down. So even like touching the outsides of the centrifuges, the oil from your hand will unbalance it and ruin it. So by breaking all that stuff, and I think it's
but it won't destroy the uranium. That I think that's
pentahexafluoride or something like that. There's fluorine gas all up through that bitch, which they use with the uranium to put in the centrifuge. It's not just like yellow cake going in there. It goes in there with the fluorine gas. So the fluorine gas could be going out and stuff like that, which is also not good for the environment or people around it. But the risk of it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the bombs going off early, it doesn't work like that. That
well,
is
it's not a, it's not
that's
a,
probably
it's,
why they okayed it, because there isn't a risk of it detonating from being bombed.
There's not a risk of it detonating from being bombed, but it's probably not a Chernobyl-like event either. But the nuclear contamination, I don't think, is entirely off the table. Depending on how far it goes, but I'm no expert. I'm a
I mean,
seamstress.
they're underground. Go ahead, Jen.
I was just gonna say, like, depending on how much the bomb would disperse it, you could worry about the uranium, becoming aerosolized as a dust, and then traveling on winds from the updraft of being collapsed so suddenly. Yeah. There is still a risk there, but like if they say there's no contamination, then it's likely that it wasn't hit directly and like aerosolized in that way. But I don't know anything about like anything else. I just know that.
Well,
Yeah, I think the risk
check
of
out,
contamination is there, but
I would say check out the Tuesday stream, probably like the first half hour. Like we got charts and diagrams, the whole thing. It's nice. It's a nice little breakdown. And then if you guys are a patron, we have the full nuke talk that I had with Landon. God, that must have been almost 5 years ago. It was like right as soon as we made the Patreon, like a month later, he came on and it's a 3.5 hour talk. Like neutron, literally neutron by neutron, what happens, the enrichment process, how it goes, how it gets critical, did the whole thing, the different kind of triggering mechanism, talked about that whole thing. That's on the Patreon. But if you want the quick version, look at the live stream from Tuesday. And we go over it in brief detail. It's 12:30. I got to go put this kid to bed. She is still up screaming.
Yeah.
And my wife is going to need a break.
12:30.
She's up screaming too.
Yeah.
It's 1:30. Oh, y'all.
Yeah, it's just it's just coming up to 6:30 in the morning in the UK.
It's
time for you to get
it's
coffee.
different times.
Any final thoughts from everybody? And then if not, I'm gonna get us on out of here. Hey, Regios. Double H raid. Hey, thanks for the raid.
I think the only thing I would want to say to end on is like it's very easy for us to become numb and desensitized to how strange things are.
Yeah.
But we got to remember that this is not normal, and it has not been normal for a very long time. And we got to make sure that we don't fall into complacency or acceptance of how fucked everything is.
Yeah. I went to do a solo shot, and then you wrapped up. I was like, "Fuck."
I'm sorry. I
No,
could
I
have
would
kept
echo
going, but
that.
I think it's more poignant if I just end it there.
Here, we'll do it this way. Aha, Ali, final thoughts.
It's not much to add to that, honestly. Trump's a fucking asshole. What the fuck?
Trump's an asshole. What the fuck? Well said, Ali. Final thoughts.
I sure didn't expect to be living this timeline that in my golden years, but here we are. I just hope that people will do a little bit of studying of history and realize what kind of a moment we're living in right now. We have a choice as to whether to allow this kind of bullshit to continue, where we give consent to be governed by people who fundamentally wish to make the lives of not just our fellow citizens, but our fellow humans all over the planet worse because it suits their own prejudices. That seems a bad choice. And for the time that we have to exercise a choice, I think that we as a people in the United States should be making better choices.
I muted myself. Heard. Bowler Hat Man.
Yeah, the big thing about all this, the consequences. As the old saying goes, you F around, you find out. And yeah, we're gonna find out. Starmer, we've just heard, has already put UK bases in the region on high alert. Last time this sort of thing happened, Iran did strike at allied US bases. So smart thing to do. There's already, I think, an emergency Cobra meeting going on here in the UK at the moment about this. I've said before, we should not get pulled into this. We should stay out of it. We should basically maintain our stance that we've been had throughout all this. That diplomacy works. Diplomacy is the best thing to do about this. When people talk, when people sit down around the table, you can get good outcomes, like the Iran nuclear deal that existed. But Trump went and ripped that up. So, we've got to be careful now of the consequences of this, because one thing that Trump has sort of stated, that the bombing would maybe stop Iran from striking Israel. Well, they've already struck Israel just moments ago. This does not bring about an end to this conflict. This, if anything, only further escalates it.
Well said indeed. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for our quick half-hour stream. We're only going to talk for about half an hour about, just keep people abreast of what's going on. We're just going to do a quick 20, 30 minutes, call it a night. I am neglecting my family. So I want everyone to be safe. Drink lots of water.
Girl, baby girl. Oh,
I love Tesla.
I got the. I want you guys to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. Push all that stuff. Take care of yourselves. Be safe. Stay informed, and we will see you later. We love you. Bye.